All right, today we are taking a deep dive into one of the absolute biggest names on the road, the Chevy Silverado. I mean, this thing is a constant bestseller, right? But what really makes it such a dominant force in the truck world? Well, let's get into it. We're going to break down the machine behind the legend.
Chevy really doesn't pull any punches with their tagline here. The truck America depends on. They're not just calling it a vehicle, are they? No, they're positioning it as a fundamental tool for the entire country. That is a seriously bold claim, and it kind of sets the stage for everything we're about to dig into. And look, they've actually got some data to back that claim up. According to J.D. Power's 2025 studies, the Silverado snagged awards for both initial quality, fewer problems right off the lot, and long-term dependability. It was named the most dependable full-size pickup after 3 years of ownership. That 1-2 punch of quality and dependability, that's a huge part of its appeal. Okay, so here's our roadmap for this deep dive. First, we'll look at the incredible variety of models. Then, we're going under the hood to check out the engines. After that, it's all about the tech, the brains behind the brawn. Then we'll get to the truck bed. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaway. All right, first up, a model for every mission, from workhorse to weekend warrior. This really gets to the absolute core of the Silverado's strategy. It's all about building a truck that can be tailored for pretty much any job or lifestyle you can think of. So how do they actually pull that off? Well, it comes down to this one number, 10. That's right, they offered 10 distinct models. Just think about that for a second. That single number tells you almost everything you need to know. This is not a one-size-fits-all truck, no way. It's a platform that is literally built for extreme customization. And wow, this slide just perfectly illustrates the incredible range we're talking about. On one side, you've got the WT, the work truck. It's exactly what it sounds like, a pure workday workhorse, all about utility. But then on the other side, you've got the high country, and that thing is basically a luxury vehicle. I mean, we're talking premium leather, authentic open-pore wood trim, and all that crazy tech like Super Cruise. It's the same fundamental truck, but they represent two totally different universes. And that same idea of specialization, it goes for off-roading too. You've got the custom Trail Boss, which is kind of your entry point for serious trail capability. But if you need to tackle the most extreme terrain out there, you're going to want to step up to the ZR2. And you can see the difference right here. The ZR2 adds all the specialized gear, like Multimatics DSSV dampers, which is basically race-proven suspension, by the way. Plus, you get e-lockers on both the front and the rear axles. That's for maximum get-you-out-of-anything traction. Okay, so let's talk about what's powering all these different models. I mean, you can't talk about a truck without getting under the hood, right? So, Section 2, 4 engines, 1 choice, the power behind the badge. So let's just start with the big headline number, the one that anyone who tows cares about. 13,300 pounds. That's the max available towing capacity on the Silverado. And that one figure, it just speaks volumes about the raw capability of this truck platform. And here's the number that really gets you all that towing power. 495 pound-feet of torque. If horsepower is about speed, torque is all about that raw, pulling grunt. It's that twisting force that gets a super heavy load moving from a complete standstill. And with that available Duramax turbo diesel, the Silverado just delivers a massive amount of it. So, the big point here is that you have options. Lots of them. This table lays it all out really clearly. The standard TurboMax engine is seriously impressive all by itself, with best-in-class standard torque. But from there, you can step up to one of 2 legendary V8s if you're looking for more horsepower. And of course, for the absolute maximum pulling power and efficiency, there's that Duramax turbo diesel. It really all just comes down to what you need your truck to do. But hey, modern trucks aren't just about muscle anymore, right? So in our next section, Brains Meet Brawn, we're going to look at all the tech packed inside. And honestly, this stuff is becoming just as important as the horsepower figures. And a huge piece of that tech is Super Cruise. So this is Chevy's hands-free driving system for compatible highways. But here's the really game-changing part. It's designed to manage your speed and steering even while you're towing a trailer. Just think about that. For anyone who spends long hours hauling something, that is an absolutely massive deal. And inside, well, the modern cabin is just dominated by screens. You can get a huge 13.4-inch center touchscreen and a 12.3-inch digital driver display. It's also got Google built in, so your maps, your voice assistant, it's all integrated right into the truck. And get this, there are up to 14 available camera views. 14! That makes maneuvering a truck this big, especially when you've got a trailer hooked up, so much easier. Okay, let's move to the business end of the truck, the bed. And our next section asks a pretty provocative question. The most functional bed? Let's take a look at the utility and innovation they've packed back there. You know, Chevrolet asks this question directly in their own marketing. So they clearly think they have the answer, right? So what's their argument? What's their case?
Well, their case starts with the foundation itself, which they call the Durabed. First off, it offers best-in-class standard cargo volume. Simple as that. You can just fit more stuff in it. It also comes with 12 standard tie-downs, so you can secure pretty much any load. And it's built from roll-formed, high-strength steel, so you know it's durable. It's all about that pure, practical, get-the-job-done utility. But this is where the real innovation is. The available multi-flex tailgate. It's like a Swiss Army knife for your truck bed. Seriously. It's not just one tailgate. It's 6 different functions all packed into one. You can see it here. It's your primary gate, sure. But it's also a load stop for long items. It gives you easier access into the bed. It can even fold down into a full-width step that holds 375 pounds. Then you add in an inner load stop and a work surface, and you start to see how they're completely rethinking a part of the truck that's basically been the same for decades.
So after looking at all the different models, the engines, the tech, the bed, what's the big takeaway here? What does it all mean? Let's wrap it all up in our final section, the takeaway. And really, it all boils down to this. The Chevrolet's greatest strength is its incredible range of choice. It's one single platform that's been engineered to become whatever you need it to be. You need a basic tool? It's a workhorse. You want a luxury cruiser? It can do that. An off-road adventurer? No problem. The one theme that ties it all together is just massive customization. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. The Silverado platform, it shows us how one single model can be split into 10 or even more highly specialized versions. So here's the question. Is this level of hyper-customization the future for all vehicles and not just trucks? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.